Australia has a reputation as being one of the richest natural environments on the planet. Its famous red rock contrasts against still blue waters, deep green forests and azure skies. This landscape has an abundance of wildlife and is home to one of the oldest living indigenous populations. And the Northern Territory offers all of this within the confines of a World Heritage listed national park. Kakadu National Park is an outback paradise. Everywhere you go, there are fantastic views and wonderful wildlife. In fact, sometimes it feels like you're driving through a movie set, but you don't always have to stick to the road. Yes, one of the most sought-after experiences for any visitor to Kakadu is a scenic helicopter flight. As Australia's largest national park, Kakadu covers an area of around 20,000 square kilometres, so to be able to witness the majesty of this untouched landscape from up here is pretty special. When you're looking down at the ground here from the helicopter, it's amazing to think that you're looking at places where no other human being has probably ever been. It really is the wild Australian outback out here.
The great thing to do is get in a helicopter and it gives you a real understanding of the expanse of the Kakadu National Parks, the waterfalls, the billabongs, the stone country, absolutely stunning scenery.
The rocks you can see would have at one time, 1.6 billion years ago, have been the seabed. The sort of structure you get here is where the sand, the sediment, things like that would have just, over the years, settled on there, formed new layers of seabed, which would have turned into rock, and as the water levels decline, of course, they start to poke out and form what we've got here today. The way this water is just, sitting there, virtually still, and you know that it's teeming with wildlife as well. And you also know that in a couple of months' time, when the dry season has ended, this water will rise metres and metres, and it will start to look like a different place.
Kakadu is an ideal destination to tour around at your own pace. However, you can also join a guided tour or hire a personal guide who will be able to help you get the most from the trip. They're also on hand to help some of us less experienced fishermen.
What we're doing is we're just putting it on the edge, we're giving it a little tease. Barramundi is an icon fish in Australia. It's a fish that's not one of those easy fish to catch. We spend a lot of time trying to teach people different techniques of how to catch these guys, and as well as providing experience of these magic wetlands that always something different happening around the clock. I know what it is already, it's a catfish. Oh. So wind your rod tip down towards the fish.
Oh, look at that!
You don't need to wind anymore, mate.
Gee, that's definitely a fish.
Yeah, not the one of the predatory fish that we're after.
I don't really care, to be honest. That is the biggest fish I've ever caught, which isn't particularly saying much, but it's definitely the biggest fish I've ever caught.
Kakadu is an area that's got so many different opportunities. There's so many vast differences around the area. You can drive into Kakadu and think there's nothing to it. You must get off the beaten track to see wonderful areas like these wetlands and beautiful escarpment country, as well as other areas that are culturally significant to the traditional people that were born here.
Now, after all of that fun on the river, it's time to cool off in one of the many pristine waterholes. With many natural waterfalls, plunge pools and gorge areas perfectly safe to swim in during the dry season, Kakadu is a water lover's paradise. Whoever compiles the next Oxford English Dictionary really ought to put a picture of this place next to the word idyllic, and it's typical of so many of the waterfalls and plunge pools here in Kakadu. The wildlife to be found in Kakadu attracts nature lovers from all over the world, especially if you're a bird watcher.
We're at Mamakala wetlands in Kakadu National Park. This is a favourite area for these so-called twitchers.
Yeah.
They come from all over the world to see some of the great varied bird life that you can see in the top end. As you can see up there, there's thousands and thousands of magpie geese and all manner of other types of waterfowl. And in the water itself, there's crocodiles, there's snakes, there's turtles. So a place like this would be very popular with Aboriginal people, the traditional owners of this area. This is the sort of an area that would come hunting for all those things. This is, to a traditional person, an area like this is like a big shopping centre.
But it's not just the birds that this area is famous for. There are, of course, the impressive but quite deadly saltwater crocs.
The only time the crocodiles can attack is that when they are very hungry. So if you're down on the bank, you have to look around before you go a bit closer down, because once a crocodile pops up and he sees you standing on the bank, he can actually move out of the water by using his tail with a speed of 100 miles an hour, that quick out of the water, just jumping straight out of the water, or he can actually flip you with his tail by spinning himself around and slapping you out with his tail, knocking you back into the water.
There should be a crocodile just along here somewhere. It should be fairly recognisable. It's very long and it's got big teeth. There he is. Look at that. That is amazing. This is where David Attenborough would tell you if it was a boy or a girl. Well, I don't think I'm going to bother finding out.
Well, we get really nice response from tourists that comes on board because they don't actually know what we actually do up here, and they really would like to know about our culture and how we do our traditional things up here. Some people doesn't want to go home, they rather stay up here because they really love the green trees around the Kakadu area.
And it's not just natural wonders that will enthrall you. Kakadu and neighbouring Arnhem Land has some of the finest examples of Aboriginal rock art in the world. This is amazing. We've got a whole gallery of rock art here. Where are we, Brian?
We're at the main gallery at Ulbia Rock Art Sites, and if you look up there you can see a whole range of rock art from the X-ray style paintings, which Kakadu is famous for, right through to the early Mimi style paintings, which is also up there as well.
And there is an awful lot of rock art all around this area.
That's absolutely right.
Let's go check out some more.
Let's go.
Oh,
Okay, Ben, what we'll do now is I'll take you up to the top of the Ulbia Rock Art Site,
Great.
where you'll see one of the best views to be had in the whole of Kakadu.
Fantastic. Wow, that is absolutely amazing.
It is for sure, and it explains why there's so much rock art in this region. There's an abundance of food source on this beautiful big wetlands that we're looking over.
And it's a pretty good view as well.
It is for sure. Kakadu and Arnhem Land share a border, which is formed by the East Alligator River, and Arnhem Land itself is like stepping back in time. You go into Arnhem Land, it's got some of the world's very best rock art sites.
And when you get over the border to Arnhem Land, the landscape takes on a new beauty as this untouched world reveals a heritage that goes back thousands of generations. Okay, what are we looking at the moment?
Okay, we're looking at this moment, we're looking at floodplains, waterholes and the billabongs.
And you still hunt this area, don't you?
And we still keep hunting, continuing for our fresh food.
It's absolutely stunning, it really is beautiful.
Now we're looking at our rock arts, the fresh waters like fish, gunners, turtles, pythons, or a magpie geese, turkey hiding somewhere, freshwater crocodile and the echidnas.
Now looking at them, they seem almost skeletal-like, like you can look through them. Why is that? What's it called?
Actually, when you're looking at this large freshwater fish, you can see the inside, the bones and the guts inside. That's why now everyone's calling it X-rays. So X-ray style.
Did it kind of almost serve then as a lesson to people, or it was teaching people as to what they should go out and catch?
Exactly.
Well, Wilfred, we've made it to the top. The views here, to say the least, are pretty spectacular. Now, the rock art, of course, is one facet of what makes Arnhem Land such a great place. But what do you think, in general, makes this area so fantastic?
People go hunting, camping, or including they come up here and enjoy listening a culture of the indigenous, the Aborigines, sharing the culture stories behind. We looking now for our children's future to learn about from the elders, and then to us we keep continuing telling our children, so when they become adults and then pass it on through.
Well, Wilfred, I feel incredibly privileged to be here. Thank you.
I've been guiding here for 20 years, and I can tell you that I never get tired of the place, the changing seasons, the changing landscapes. It always is an absolute pleasure to come out tour guiding in the park and showing people the wonderful sights that you can see up here in Kakadu National Park and Arnhem Land.
As soon as you step into Kakadu, you could easily be forgiven for thinking that you've gone back thousands of years. Everywhere you turn, there are sights that will amaze you and will stay etched in your memory forever.